call the meeting to order and thank everyone for their attendance tonight. Before we get started, I would like to let everyone know that Council Lady Kane and Councilman Earn are not with us tonight. They're at spring break with their children. We will begin tonight by standing for the invocation by the Father Andrew Buchanan, Galilee Episcopal Church. And if you remain standing after the invocation, we will have the Pledge of Allegiance. Father Buchanan, we're delighted to have you with us today.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you that in the scriptures you tell us that it is your desire to bless cities. For as go the cities, so go the nation. So Lord, we ask your blessing upon this city of Virginia Beach. Prosper it. We thank you for the citizens who give of their time and their energy to serve on this council. And we ask, Lord, your blessing upon them, that you would grant them wisdom, insight, grace, strength, and gentleness in all their deliberations, that through them you would also bless this city. And I pray in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You have the roll call, Madam Clerk?
Yes, Your Honor, with the two council.
Do I have a motion for the certification of the closed session?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? I'll call for the question, please.
By a vote of 9-0, you have certified the closed session in accordance with the motion to recess.
Do I have a motion for approval of the minutes of March 17, 2015?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? I'll call for the question, please.
By a vote of 9-0, you have approved the minutes as submitted.
Is Elizabeth Chupik here, please? Elizabeth, come forward, please. Is my...
I have some guests also, if you don't mind.
Please, come on.
I've got Lieutenant Bobby Wynn from the Domestic Violence Unit, Sergeant Jackie Deluso, and Detective Josh Chapman, also from our police department, as a show of support.
Well, we really do thank you, and as I read this proclamation, the audience will certainly understand why, because we're talking about child abuse prevention, and we want to sit back and, before I read this, thank each and every one of you for what you all are doing to make sure that this is a rare occurrence and eventually a non-occurrence here in Virginia Beach. Whereas preventing child abuse and neglect is a community responsibility that depends on involvement among people throughout the community. Whereas child maltreatment occurs when people find themselves in stressful situations without community resources and without coping skills. Whereas the majority of child abuse cases stem from situations and conditions that are preventable in an engaged and supportive community, and whereas all citizens should become involved in supporting families in raising their children in a safe, nurturing environment, whereas effective child abuse prevention programs succeed because of partnerships created among families, social service agencies, schools, faith communities, civic organizations, law enforcement agencies, and the business community, and whereas Virginia Beach Court-Appointed Special Advocates, CASA, is launching its second Pinwheels for Prevention campaign to coincide with the National Child Abuse Prevention Month activities, whereas community volunteers have planted 3,000 pinwheels on the lawn of the Juvenile and Domestic Relations Court to represent the number of children served by the Virginia Beach CASA office over the past 25 years. Now, therefore, I, William D. Sussmans, Jr., Mayor of the City of Virginia Beach, do hereby proclaim April 2015 Child Abuse Prevention Month in Virginia Beach, and I call upon all citizens, community agencies, faith groups, medical facilities, and businesses to increase their participation in our efforts to support families, thereby preventing child abuse and neglect and strengthening the communities in which we live. Becky, can I give to you? Please, any comments would be welcome.
Thank you, Mayor Sessoms and members of City Council. My name is Elizabeth Chupik, and I am a proud board member of Champions for Children, which serves as a community leader in the quest to eliminate child abuse and neglect. With me are local detectives, our professionals who are fighting this battle every day. We commend the City of Virginia Beach for recognizing our children as a priority, and we thank you for declaring April as Child Abuse Prevention Month. Children should be able to live free from fear, abuse, and the trials of being neglected. But for the thousands of children in Virginia who have experienced abuse and neglect, it is an assurance that goes profoundly and tragically unsatisfied. Last year alone, there were 2,062 cases proven of child abuse and neglect in Hampton Roads, and thousands more children arrived every day to our schools, sports programs, churches, and youth programs with abuse and neglect issues that are unnoticed and untreated. Champions for Children targets these victims through its educational programs, which are delivered to youth-serving individuals in the community as a nonprofit organization focused on public awareness of the issues of child abuse and neglect, advocacy for the children of Hampton Roads, and focused education programs to impact the identification and care of victims. Together with our state organization, Prevent Child Abuse Virginia, and other community partners, we seek to move child abuse and neglect out of the back room to a full community conversation. Child Abuse Prevention Month is a time to make the struggle of these children our own and to acknowledge that caring for our children is a community imperative this month and every month. We invite you to stand with us and be a champion for children all month. Thank you so much for the opportunity to
Well,
speak to you.
no, we want to thank you, and I speak for the entire council, saying, number one, thank you for what you're all doing. But if and when you need something else from us, we're here for you too, because this is the top thing on our list. We cannot allow child abuse to occur in our city.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Open a public hearing on leases of city-owned property, 2200 Parks Avenue,
Honor, I have no speakers.
4136 Cheswick Lane,
No speakers.
Flutterby KAU LLC,
No speakers.
Lisa's Tinker Treasures.
No speakers, Your Honor.
Mr. Vice Mayor, if you go to the consent agenda, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, I'd like to move for approval under the consent agenda. First, ordinances, item J1, which is ordinances to amend the city code, A, section 2-81, Ray mandatory retirement age, B, section 7-59.3, prohibiting certain signage conveyed by bicycles on the bicycle path adjacent to the boardwalk. C, section 23-18.1, Ray crossing police lines or barricades. J2, which is ordinances to authorize the city manager to execute leases. A, Museum of Contemporary Art at 2200 Parks Avenue. B, Friends of Ferry Plantation House, Inc. at 4136 Cheswick Lane. C, Lisa's Tinker Treasures at the Farmers Market. And D, Flutterby Kaia LLC at the Farmers Market. J3, which is ordinance Ray, the 2015 Housing Choice Voucher Plan, Annual Agency Plan, and an administrative plan to authorize the city manager to submit such plans to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. J4, ordinances to accept and appropriate A, $237,000 from the Attorney General to the Sheriff's Office and authorize a local grant match, Ray Communication Equipment, $1,976, Ray Operation Lookout for senior citizens, and $198 for the Triad Crime Prevention for Seniors grant. B, $116,938 from Virginia EMS, Ray 4 for Life grant to enhance rescue and medical capabilities. C, $14,447 from the Virginia Aquarium Foundation for one full-time employee in the Department of Museums, and direct the city manager to include same in the fiscal year 2016 operating budget to be funded by the foundation. And D, $3,000 from Geico to the Police Ray Every 15 Minutes program.
Open a public hearing on planning.
For planning, for consent, is for indefinite deferral, item 1, which is MCQ Builders LLC, BH Vendlin LLC, change in nonconformity at 1046 and 1050 Old Dam Neck Road and 1037 Dam Neck Roads in the Princess Anne District. For approval, item 2, which is Back Bay Brewhouse, John Atkinson, for a conditional use permit, craft brewery at 612 Norfolk Avenue in the Beach District. And if the clerk would please note that Mayor Sessoms and Mr. Davenport are abstaining on that item.
No, sir, I'm not abstaining from the Back Bay, I'm abstaining from number 1.
From number 1, all right. Madam Clerk, if you'd note that Mr. Davenport instead is abstaining from item K1.
Yes, Your Honor.
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion.
I'm sorry I didn't mention this earlier, but I'd like my vote on item 1B to be no, Mr. Mayor.
Any other discussion? I'll call for the question, please.
By a vote of 9-0, with the abstentions noted from Mr. Davenport and the mayor, and a no vote for Mr. Moss. Is that on the ordinance number B?
Correct, yes, ma'am, 1B.
Is a no.
We'll now go to item number 3 in planning, Simon Acquisition 2 LLC, Norfolk Premium Outlets. The representative for Simon will be allowed 10 minutes to speak, and we will have other speakers will be limited to 3 minutes. We will adhere to these times because we have a lot of speakers. If someone's representing an organization, we will allow 10 minutes to speak. Call the speakers, please.
Mr. Verdon, representing the applicant.
We welcome you tonight, Mr. Burdon.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Vice Mayor Jones, members of council, it's a pleasure to be here. For the record, I'm Eddie Burdon, a Virginia Beach attorney representing Simon Property Group on this review of the Virginia Beach Planning Commission's finding on a 9-1 vote that the dedication and construction of Lake Wright Boulevard from Northampton Boulevard to Miller Store Road, as proposed by my client and at my client's expense, will be substantially in accordance with our comprehensive plan. With me this evening are Mr. Scott Richardson with Simon, Mr. Bill Cashman, our traffic engineer, and Mr. Randy Royal, the civil engineer on this project. This application is a first of its kind in our area. It is not an application for a change of zoning, nor is it a request to approve any general or specific land use. Simply put, this is a review and comparison of 2 alternative alignments for the dedication and construction at no cost to Virginia Beach of a 4-lane roadway to connect Northampton Boulevard to Miller Store Road in the Burton Station strategic growth area. The SGA plan envisions and recommends substantial new growth, including 719,000 square feet of new retail and restaurant space, 424 new apartments, senior and single-family residences, 150 new hotel rooms, and 7,800,000 square feet of new office, commercial, and flex space for this area. This SGA plan also describes 1,042,000 square feet of new office space and 360 new apartments on the former Lake Wright Golf Course property with 4 to 5-story office towers and apartments with parking garages along the former golf course's frontage on Northampton Boulevard. Page 17 of the SGA plan depicts and describes the streets diagram and streets framework. These represent the transportation infrastructure for the envisioned growth described in the SGA plan. The Burton Station SGA plan recommends a north to south connection be made using a northward extension of Wesleyan Drive along the city line to Miller Store Road in order to, quote, create a transportation corridor linking the airport, new offices, and new industry. This SGA plan was prepared and adopted by the Planning Commission and this council in 2009 without the benefit of any traffic study. The only south to north roadway connection between Northampton Boulevard and Miller Store Road which exists today is Burton Station Road. The SGA plan appropriately recommends eliminating that connection by turning Burton Station Road into a cul-de-sac to protect the residential village from pass-through, cut-through traffic. Based upon 2 extensive traffic studies done last year by Bill Cashman and URS, recognized experts in their profession, at no expense to Virginia Beach, but with consultation and input from city staff, one study being an expansive methodology reflective of a corridor planning study with a horizon forecast of 20 years, Based upon the clear findings of these studies that my client authorized in connection with planning for their development, Simon has simply proposed to construct a partially relocated south to north roadway connection, which simply commences 1,000 feet east of Wesleyan Drive and which will and can extend all the way north to Miller Store Road. That proposed road includes a 100-foot buffer from the village of Burton Station. It includes a connection of Tolliver Road, which is shown on the comprehensive plan, into that village. The residents of Burton Station, who we've been in consultation with, met with, they prefer that that be a pedestrian connection, but that will be a dedication. As I told the Planning Commission, we did not show the road going all the way to Miller Store Road because we do not control the grade crossing for the railroad. This road can be built all the way to Miller Store Road, and we will do so, but the City of Virginia Beach and the railroad will have to agree to move the grade crossing from Burton Station Road in order for that to occur. The same is true if we were to construct Wesleyan Drive extended as well. We can't get across the grade crossing. The railroad's not going to give us a new one, but closing Burton Station Road will allow that to happen. As I told the Planning Commission, the premium outlets are on the Norfolk side of the city line, and as I advised them, the statement on page 7 of your Planning Department report, which states that the Wesleyan Drive extended as recommended in the SGA plan will no longer be possible as an outlet mall will disrupt the route, is simply inaccurate. There's no accuracy to that whatsoever. Simon is certainly willing to construct Wesleyan Drive as shown in the comp plan if you disagree with the Planning Commission's carefully considered determination and essentially reconfirm a preference to build Wesleyan Drive. But we are certain that by developing Lake Wright Boulevard to get to Miller Store Road, the traffic carrying capacity of Northampton Boulevard is significantly enhanced, as is its safety. I think everyone is aware of the dual left turn lanes, the added right turn lane, and the green T intersection Simon will construct at Lake Wright Boulevard's intersection with Northampton, which will permit eastbound traffic on Northampton Boulevard to proceed without any signalization and all the other improvements that will occur with Simon's development. And we are not eliminating the Wesleyan Drive connection to Northampton Boulevard either, but we are eliminating the existing left turn lanes from eastbound traffic on Northampton Boulevard at Wesleyan Drive, and we also would be eliminating the direct exit movement from the Lake Wright Motel properties other than a right out. All exiting traffic will be coming to the Lake Wright Boulevard intersection in order to exit other than right out traffic. What these changes do is create a substantial additional traffic carrying capacity on Northampton Boulevard. The green light segments for both directions of Northampton Boulevard are longer and consequently accommodate far more through traffic than is accommodated today. And that is what the traffic studies clearly indicate. We propose this alignment shift simply to add substantial capacity to move traffic through Northampton Boulevard corridor to support any and all new development in this corridor and to enhance its safety. If a developer were to come in today to rezone and develop the former Lake Wright Golf Course property precisely as the SGA plan envisions, with 1 million+ square feet of office space and 300+ apartments, it is an absolute fact, that you would not want that development, the development envisioned in the SGA plan, to develop Wesleyan Drive extended as its access. The worst traffic in this corridor is the AM morning peak hour traffic on weekdays. Developing offices and apartments which generate tremendous volumes of morning hour traffic, which retail centers do not, would be a far less feasible using Wesleyan Drive than development of the premium outlets using Wesleyan Drive would be, because there is no AM peak traffic. But we should not want to develop Wesleyan Drive as the connector in either case. We were pleased that the Virginia Beach Planning Commission, after reviewing all the documentation presented, listening to extensive testimony and asking insightful questions of your staff and our engineers, voted 9-1 to approve Lake Wright Boulevard as a preferred alternative to extending Wesleyan Drive, and thus consistent with the Burton Station SGA. The Planning Commission did not hear from anyone, including city staff, who suggested that constructing the extension of Wesleyan Drive, as depicted in the SGA plan, would be the superior way to create the desired north-south connector when compared to Simon's proposal to construct Lake Wright Boulevard. No Planning Commission member, including the lone dissenter, suggested that extending Wesleyan Drive would be either a better or a safer way to distribute and move traffic through this area of the SGA. Simon is certainly prepared to construct either the extension of Wesleyan Drive or Lake Wright Boulevard in conjunction with its premium outlets development that will break ground later this year. The decision as to which of these two roads you prefer us to construct is yours, and Simon will abide by that decision. We certainly hope you agree with the Planning Commission's decision. Simon simply could not, in good conscience, proceed with investing the capital to develop the extension of Wesleyan Drive as depicted in the SGA plan without first offering to invest a greater amount of its capital to develop Lake Wright Boulevard, when Lake Wright Boulevard will serve the same function as the extension of Wesleyan Drive shown in your plan, in a manner that our experts are certain, and other experts hired by Norfolk Academy have confirmed, will afford a substantial increase in the traffic carrying capacity of the Northampton Boulevard corridor and do so in a safer manner. I provided you on the packages that we sent out on Friday, letters of support from Burton Station residents, and as well as a letter from the Virginia Beach Division of the Chamber of Commerce. The Northampton Boulevard business owners have provided letters. As to the mayor's proposal, which we are aware of, we totally support that proposal and will abide by the terms of that proposal with one clarification, which is included in a letter that I sent to the mayor yesterday involving number 6, that being the ability to, well, just clarifying the ability to provide a first right of refusal with respect to the property in Burton Station owned by the Airport Authority. But the drainage is a major plus that will be provided with this, the ability to drain into Lake Wright with the treated stormwater, which is, again, set forth in the mayor's proposal and in my response to it have clarified it. I would like to ask all the supporters that are present tonight, of the Lake Wright Boulevard proposal and the mayor's proposal of compromise to please stand. Those that are here in support.
We thank you very much for your comments. Mr. Burdon, next speaker, please.
Thank you very much.
Scott Richardson, is he speaking? Mr. Bernard, before you- Scott Richardson, is he getting 10 minutes too?
We welcome you tonight.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of council. Scott Richardson from Simon, from Indianapolis, Indiana. We're pleased to be here tonight, and just wanted to reiterate that we are extremely excited about the opportunity to bring what we know will be a regional amenity to this area. As Eddie mentioned, we are willing and excited to make a major investment into this market. There are markets across the country clamoring to have one of these, and after careful review, even another site in the broader market, we felt this was the place that we want to be. In conjunction with the project, we will be creating 500 new construction jobs, and when it's complete, 800 permanent retail jobs. And a critical item on the job front is jobs don't have any municipal allegiances. Anybody and everybody is going to get work because of the creation of this mall. The bottom line is this center is going to get built, and we're actually about to begin the relocation of the sanitary sewer lines as well as the overhead power lines that currently exist that need to be relocated in order for us to begin our mass grading later this year. We just need to know which road Virginia Beach would like us to construct. As Eddie mentioned, we're more than happy to build Wesleyan Drive as it's shown in the comprehensive plan. However, Lake Wright is clearly a better option. It's the safest, most efficient way to move traffic through the corridor. In conclusion, Simon is 100% committed to building this outlet center, utilizing either Lake Wright Boulevard or Wesleyan Drive. Although we're confident that Lake Wright Boulevard is clearly the better choice, Wesleyan Drive does work for us as well. And that decision is yours to make. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Next speaker, please.
Tom Albergo.
Tom, we're glad to have you here tonight.
Good evening, Mayor Sessoms, Vice Mayor Jones, and esteemed members of the council. My name is Tom Alberico. I'm a resident of Virginia Beach and have the pleasure of serving as the president of the Norfolk Academy Board of Trustees. Tonight, we seek your approval of the proposed road known as Lake Wright Boulevard. While we have no public position for or against the development of an outlet mall or the Strategic Growth Area Comprehensive Plan, we remain strong advocates of safety. Well over 1,500 students, teachers, staff, parents, and guests travel to NA daily from across the region and particularly from Virginia Beach. Their safety should never, ever be compromised. As you know, all technical traffic reports, including ours, indicate our city needs Lake Wright Boulevard to support not only the existing traffic demand, but future traffic generated by proposed development projects. We have all heard the SGA plan needs to evolve as it relies on assumptions made in 2009 that are no longer valid today. The closure of the old golf course along with the SGA's suggested access coming only from Wesleyan Drive extended combined to make the plan clearly dated. To that point, any primary access from Wesleyan Drive is extended to the north without the construction of an additional corridor connecting to Northampton will create a failed and unsafe traffic condition by all accounts. Notwithstanding, Lake Wright Boulevard clearly provides necessary infrastructure to help make an updated SGA plan successful while protecting the level of service on Northampton Boulevard now. Let's rise above the divisive politics of this matter and vote to support the safety of our children and our citizens. Please vote for the Lake Wright Boulevard. Thank you very much for your time and attention.
Thank you for coming down. Next speaker, please.
Dennis Manning, and the next speaker is Bruce Vaughn.
We welcome you tonight.
Good evening, Mayor Sessoms, Vice Mayor Jones, members of council. I'm Dennis Manning, headmaster at Norfolk Academy in my 14th year, and I live on the campus. Our school's been an integral part of Hampton Roads for almost 300 years. It's the 8th oldest school in the country and first school in Virginia. Next year, we'll observe our 50th anniversary on our current site at Northampton and Wesleyan. In 1966, the Board of Trustees, which included Frank Batten and Josh Darden at the time, in a provocative and visionary decision, relocated the school from a Ward's Corner neighborhood in Norfolk to the Norfolk Virginia Beach city line. We cast our lot with Virginia Beach's growth and became a destination school, moving out of a Norfolk neighborhood to draw students proportionally from Norfolk and Virginia Beach. In fact, we have more students from Virginia Beach than we do Norfolk. We have approximately 2,300 alumni who live in Southampton Roads, 1,300 of them in Virginia Beach, many of them very much involved in leadership in this community. We've no doubt enjoyed the benefits of this location and growth, but it's not come without drawbacks and challenges, the chief one being what we consider today or this evening, and that's traffic and safety. We have over 1,200 students in grades 1 through 12, substantial numbers of teachers, staff, parents, and other guests traveling to and from campus on most days of the year. We also have a unique transportation pattern that I must draw to your attention. We have a large number of students, 16, 17, 18 years of age, who drive their younger siblings to school every day because we're a 1 through 12 school. We also have a bus service transporting nearly 600 students as well. Every child's safety is of paramount importance to us, to their mothers and fathers, and we believe that the Northampton Wesleyan intersection and exchange, currently rated at a level of service grade D, at worst puts members of our community and our children's lives at risk, and at best creates substantial delays during times of peak traffic. We're here today to advocate strongly for the proposed construction of Lake Wright Boulevard. Every recent traffic study, including one that we commissioned with Dewberry and Associates, supports the construction of Lake Wright Boulevard or a similar connector in order to relieve current congestion and also to support future development. And that relief will benefit everyone every institution operating in our corridor. Without it, that intersection will be degraded to a service level F. Finally, we've seen development in the Northampton corridor and know it's important to our economy. We also know your Burton Station SGA plan calls for substantial new commercial and residential development. We've not stood in the way. It appears no one can undo the outlet mall. It is coming whether we like it or not, which has elicited political and economic concerns along with some calls to protect existing economic.
Are you speaking for the school?
I am, sir.
Okay, keep going.
Thank you. I'm almost finished.
Okay.
It's dangerous when a headmaster gets the podium, I realize. Commercial assets elsewhere in the city, again, trying to be protected from competition. Knowing the outlet mall and other developments are coming, it seems unconscionable to me that anyone would put such considerations above a moral one. That is the safety of our citizens, particularly our children. We're simply asking that this highest consideration, the safety of children, remains uppermost in your minds. The Lake Wright Boulevard option is the right choice. The Planning Commission realized this and voted overwhelmingly in favor of the proposal. You and we should never have to explain or apologize to anyone for keeping the safety of children as our highest priority. Dr. Alberico, our President of the Board of Trustees, and I are not the only representatives here tonight from Norfolk Academy, but we've decided just the two of us would speak on behalf of the school. But I would like to ask our students, our parents, employees, trustees who are in attendance tonight in support of the Lake Wright Boulevard option to stand now and show their support for this proposal. Thank you for being here in support of our school's position on this matter. Thank you, Mayor Sessoms, Vice Mayor Jones, members of council, for allowing me this opportunity to share the Norfolk Academy community's position and concerns, and thank you for your service to our city.
Thank you for coming down tonight.
Thank you.
Next speaker, please.
Bruce Vaughn and Janet Bajor.
We welcome you tonight.
Mayor Sessoms, Council, my name is Bruce Vaughn. I'm Vice President of Operations at Virginia Wesleyan College. Dr. Greer sends his regrets that he couldn't be here to speak himself. To not take up too much of your time, our position is the same as our neighbors, Norfolk Academy. Our biggest concern is for the safety of our constituents. We have about 1,800 faculty, staff, students on a daily basis, plus visitors, well into the 2,000 plus range. And the movement of them and their safety is of our utmost concern. The traffic studies that we've seen seem to indicate that the Lake Wright Boulevard is the safer of the methods to move traffic, and we support the traffic studies, not being traffic engineers ourselves. Thank you.
Thank you for coming down tonight.
Janet
Next speaker,
Bajor,
please.
Robert Garris. One speaker at a time. I just called both names. One can wait. Janet, you're first.
We welcome you tonight, ma'am.
Hi, good evening.
Good
My
evening.
name is Janet Barridge, and my family owns and operates the Big Charlie's Truck Plaza on Northampton Boulevard, as well as the Magnuson Hotel on Northampton Boulevard. So we are here today to support the Lake Wright Boulevard, the new road. We're excited about the outlet project, and as you guys know, it's going to help generate revenue for all of us. The traffic studies are also in support for safety. Being in the business for about 25 years, we've learned that satisfying our customers is number one. So it's going to help our travelers that are visiting from the Northeast and the South to move traffic easier and to get into the mall a little bit easier. We're in support for that. I also read the recent article that the Planning Commission voted 9-1 in support for this road, as well as Simon is planning on paying for it. So I do feel like it's a win-win for all of us, and I do feel like this will help the future development of the Burton Station SGA. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Thank you for coming down. Next speaker, please.
Robert Garris and Shep Miller.
We welcome you tonight, sir.
My name is Robert Garris. My address is 5108 Booker Street. I live in the city of Chesapeake. I'm also a property owner in the Burton Station area. I say to the mayor and to the council members and to all assembled here this evening, I stand here in favor of the Lake Wright Boulevard project. I also planning on moving back into the Burton Station area. So I say, let's not stop progress. Thank you very much for your time. I thank you.
Thank you for coming down. Next speaker, please.
Shep Miller and Damon Watson.
We welcome you tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Vice Mayor, members of the council. My name is Shep Miller. I'm a citizen, or resident, I should say, of the city of Norfolk. I am a property owner in Virginia Beach, and I've built 3 technology businesses here. I came before the Planning Commission sort of out of frustration about reading this in the paper. I didn't have any interest in this project, financial interest, I mean. I didn't come to represent anybody. I'm just a citizen like y'all who lives in this region. I wanted to take a little twist on the father's prayer comments tonight, where he said, as cities go, as does go the nation. And I would say to you, as regions go, does go the nation. In this region of Hampton Roads, it's time that we continue to work towards working together and finding regional solutions to our problems. If we don't do that, we're going to have serious issues as we go forward into the next decade or two. And I think you all have done that in many cases, and many city councils have done that. But I sort of see this as a classic regional situation where the folks in Norfolk want to build this mall. Maybe it's competitive, maybe it's not. I don't think that should be an issue for city councils, frankly. But I understand the concern by some that it is. But they want to build this mall, and maybe y'all don't get as much out of it, and you get some traffic and some headaches in the city of Virginia Beach. Maybe Norfolk gets a little bit more money. If we go down that road, folks, there's no end to it. I believe it's a good regional project, but at the end of the day, for me, it all comes down to one thing. As many of y'all know, I served on the Commonwealth Transportation Board representing this city and other urban areas in our Commonwealth. We know this is not a great site for traffic. It has problems. It's grade D. It does need to get upgraded, no question about it. The Simon folks are going to build this mall. They have a right to do so, and they're going to do so. And the question boils down to this. Do you want a worse road, or do you want a better road? They're going to pay for it either way. So which do you want? You don't have to really like your choice. Unfortunately, that's the choice. So from my way of thinking, whether I'm a Virginia Beach resident, Norfolk resident, or Newport News resident, I use this road all the time. Every day I drive through it. I want a better road. We owe it to our citizens. We owe it to our region. I appreciate your service very much, and I appreciate the opportunity to speak to you.
Thank you for coming down tonight. Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Damon Watson, and the next speaker will be Pamela Riddick.
We welcome you tonight.
Good morning. How you doing? Good afternoon. How's everybody doing? Mr. Mayor, Council. My name is Damon Watson. I'm part owner of a national liquor brand called Taiku. I am a Virginia Beach native. I am also now a Virginia Beach resident. I am completely in favor of the Lake Wright project. As a trader on the New York Stock Exchange, I used to trade Simon Properties. I know pretty much what they do when they do surveys. And they're a very highly intelligent and very highly recognizable building company. So the fact that they are willing to build this road themselves and it's no cost to the city, it ensures the safety of the children and everybody around it, and it will bring easier revenue into this development. I am all in favor for the Lake Wright project. I know you guys will make the right decision. I just wanted to come here and show my face. I am a supporter of Virginia Beach. I do a lot of things actively for council in Virginia Beach, and I'm all for this project. That's pretty much all I have to say. I thank you guys for your time, and thank you so much.
Thank you for coming down. Next speaker, please.
Pamela Riddick, and then we have 2 speakers together representing L&J Gardens. It'll be Peggy Higgins and Ralph Saunders, but the first speaker will be Pamela Riddick.
We welcome you tonight.
Mayor Sessions, esteemed members of the council, my name is Pamela Riddick, and I'm a lifetime resident of Virginia Beach, Virginia. I can remember when Northampton Boulevard was actually Waterworks Road, and my house was probably the first house out there. I guess my concern with the Lake Wright Boulevard is that Northampton Boulevard is already so congested. Like I said, I've lived there forever, and the only way of exiting my house is to enter Northampton Boulevard, to go to the intersection and make a U-turn. In the morning, that has become impossible. So I guess it's hard for me to imagine what it's going to be like now with not even the U-turn and a brand new boulevard, which says to me it's going to be huge. I mean, I'm all for progress. I remember when there was no Norfolk Academy and it was a dairy. So when I say I go back, I go way back. You know, I'm born in '53. My father built that house back then in the '50s.
Bless your heart.
So I'm all for progress, not a problem. but it just seems like there should be a workable way that everybody can benefit. I want everybody to have a job, that's great. But it shouldn't be where residents are put on the back burner that have built their homes there, have built their lives there, their children have been raised there, their children now live there. Some consideration, I just believe, needs to be done where it can be amenable for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Peggy
Wish I could find that one.
Ralph Saunders.
I wish I could find that. We welcome you tonight.
Good evening, Mayor Sessoms and distinguished members of the City Council. My name is Peggy Higgins. I am the co-president of the L&J Gardens Civic League. And Mayor Sessoms, with your permission, I would like to invite the L&J Gardens Civic League members that are in attendance this evening to stand while I speak.
Absolutely.
Please. The L&J Gardens Civic League is in strong opposition to the building of the Premium Outlet Mall in proximity of the neighborhood in general, and the construction of a proposed access road, Lake Wright Boulevard, will be located 1/10 of a mile west of the neighborhood's main entrance. Traffic is already intolerable on Northampton Boulevard during rush hours, 8 to 10 a.m. and 3 to 6 p.m. daily. And the extent that property owners can barely get in and out of their the neighborhood, in part because of Norfolk Academy's traffic and excess lanes to Interstate 64. We also object to any parking lots being built on the Virginia Beach side of the former Lake Wright Golf Course. We hope that the members of City Council will adhere to emotional and rational reasons for our objection to the mall and to the proposed access road. It will affect the quality of life currently enjoyed by the residents of L&J Gardens. We ask that you please look favorably upon the neighborhood's expressed position with regards to the outlet mall. Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming down.
Peggy.
Next speaker, please.
Peggy, I just want to tell you and Robert congratulations on his new appointment to the bench. And it's wonderful to see you.
Thank you.
Next speaker,
Is
please.
Ralph Saunders going to speak from L&J Gardens?
I didn't realize that.
All right, Ashley Malloy and Dane Blythe.
We welcome you tonight.
Thank you for having me. I'm Ashley McLeod. I'm a resident of Wesleyan Pines at 5508 Del Park Avenue. It's off of Wesleyan, Diamond Springs, and Northampton. I'm trapped in the triangle. I'm here to speak in opposition to adding the additional road on Northampton, which we're referring to as Lake Wright Boulevard. I'm fearful that this area is considered an industrial area in its proximity to the airport as well as Norfolk International Airport, and we're forgetting about the number of residents who actually live in this area. Wesleyan Pines is part of 905 homes, which make up Campus East Community Association. Other subdivisions that surround us, Lawson Forest, Wesleyan Chase, Cypress Point, L&J Gardens, Burton Station, Aragona Village, Diamond Lakes Estates, Sajo Farms, and Ridgely Manor. But our neighborhoods are not the only residential neighborhoods that utilize Northampton 64 corridor. Eastern Shore residents must utilize Northampton in order to access Interstate 64. Chicks Beach residents, Bay Lake Pines residents, Church Point, Thorogood, Witch Duck Point, Lake Smith Terrace, Haygood Point, these residents also utilize this corridor to get to and from 64. And there's the tourists who are going to First Landing State Park. They come shore drive to the state park, right? And they've got to come through the corridor getting off of 64 at Northampton. Imagine their excitement to come to Virginia Beach, the Chesapeake Bay area, after sitting 2 hours of the Hampton Roads Bridge Tunnel, only to sit for a little bit more congestion as they get off of 64 onto Northampton. Would Virginia Beach, Chesapeake Bay continue to be a desirable recreation destination? The distance between Wesleyan Drive and Burton Station is approximately 4/10 of a mile by my minivan. The road's going to go right about in the middle. 3 stoplights in 4/10 of a mile. That will not add so much to the morning traffic, but for sure on Saturday and Sunday, you can now guess that residents have to deal with congestion, so we get it 7 days a week. After living in the area for 15 years, I was thrilled for the expansion and the improvements that were made at Wesleyan Drive in Northampton. It is unfortunate that better planning has not been done by those who would like to put in this outlet mall to remove additional traffic impacts for this area when improvements have just been made. While we may not be able to prevent the outlet mall from being established on the Lake Wright Golf Course property, we residents are asking that you please help us to decrease the impact of this outlet mall traffic by discouraging an entrance off of Northampton, especially adding this additional road, Lake Wright Boulevard. And I haven't even begun to start talking about the impact on Burton Station neighborhood and the strategic growth plan. I won't criticize Norfolk. They are trying to find a revenue stream to build their economy, which they should. That's their job. However, I'm asking my Virginia Beach City Council to support the quality of life and safety for the residents in Northwest Beach, Virginia Beach. Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming down. Next speaker, please.
Jane Blake, Ralph Parkham.
We welcome you tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Vice Mayor, members of council. My name is Dane Bly. I live in the Bayside District, and I travel throughout Tidewater for work, and it's rare a day goes by I don't actually travel down Northampton Boulevard. And unfortunately, as the years have gone by, the conditions of that road have deteriorated. In fact, it's gotten to the point I almost feel like I'm in a third world area. There are numerous potholes. Some of them are bone jarring. In fact, if you've driven underneath the overpass where 64 is right now, you better hold on tight because it's a little scary right now with some of those potholes. And the lack of signage right there at the 264 interchange, I feel like I'm in a NASCAR race sometimes with people jockeying and going around. It can be a little scary, and obviously it's a very congested road. And I think absolutely the worst place to add a road would be right there at Norfolk Academy and Virginia Wesleyan at that road, and it sounds like everybody is opposed to that. My concern is that looking at the Lake Wright Boulevard, I don't really think it'll reduce congestion either, and I am concerned it really won't alleviate some of the safety concerns that have been brought up here before. It looks like maybe the best solution would be if we could finally could go ahead and improve the I-64 interchange at Northampton as well as over at Military Highway so that traffic would flow better off Northampton Boulevard, both on and off, and then all the mall traffic could get off at Military and go on Miller Store Road and go in that way. It looks like that would be kind of the win-win situation, and it would also help preserve the plans at Burton Station, that historically important part of the city as well. So maybe you could consider that part as well, and hopefully traffic can flow better for everybody. Thank you.
Thank you for coming down. Next speaker, please.
Ralph Parham and Jenny Cox.
We welcome you tonight.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council, Mr. Spore, I oppose this road or anything going over there. I believe that we have put together a SGA for many years that's supposed to be going in place here in our city, and we have spent hundreds of thousands of dollars to put this in place. And Norfolk knew that we had this in place, and they just didn't want to deal with us. I think their outlet mall should go to Janif, if you ask me. The traffic on Northampton Boulevard is outrageous. I just think about the great people that own those North End houses in Richmond that come down here every summer, waiting, like Ashley said, in the Hampton Tunnel. They have to wait again, get on Northampton Boulevard. Then, you know, you have people saying here tonight that we're worried about our kids. Well, that traffic is outrageous anyway. If you move it halfway down the road, if you move it 2 miles down the road, you're going to have a problem anyway. So I just feel that we don't need it. It needs to go to Janif. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Jenny Cox, Lou Haddad.
We welcome you tonight.
Good evening, Mayor Sessoms and members of the council. My name is Jeannie Evans Cox, and I'm here tonight wearing 2 hats. One on behalf of the Central Business District Association, representing over 150 companies, and as a citizen of this city. The Central Business District Association went on record last year and notified you on February 14th, 2014, that we were opposed to this project because of the concern of our retailers related to the practice of national retailers offering two lines of distribution, a full-line retail store and a factory outlet store. It's the practice of many national retailers to place only one store in a given market. Some have expressed that the development of this outlet mall may result in the placement of lower-end and factory-end stores that other national retailers, excuse me, that will stop other national retailers from entering this market, place them on hold, which would impact the city of Virginia Beach and our region. Here with me tonight are stakeholders from the Pembroke Strategic Growth Area, Mr. Lou Haddad, CEO of Armada Hoffler, Mr. Fred Napolitano and Richard Oliveri, partners of Pembroke Mall, Mr. Gerald DeVaris of DeVaris Real Estate, and Mr. Josh Schulman, a partner with Columbus Center Suites. Could you stand, gentlemen, please? They represent hundreds of businesses and employees in the Virginia Beach area. From the beautiful town center, the city's work, play, and live in urban environment, to Pembroke Mall, an example of the most amazing transformation of a 50-year-old mall ever. Nationally known retailers are coming to this market, and they are concerned about the detrimental effect this mall will have on their bottom dollar. Furthermore, your city staff has established that this project is incompatible with the city's comprehensive plan, a plan followed by developers, businesses, and citizens alike, a roadmap for our city, a plan that gives our taxpayers reasonable expectations for future development next door, across the street, and around the corner. Now, I realize you are not here tonight to vote on an outlet mall. You are here to consider the construction, maintenance, and use of a road leading to the outlet mall. As a citizen, I have serious concerns relating to the impact of this development on local infrastructure, the lack of sales tax, and traffic to an already highly congested area. I urge you, on behalf of myself and the Central Business District Association, to deny this application. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Lou Haddad and Gerald DeVaris.
We welcome you tonight.
Mayor Sessoms and Vice Mayor Jones, members of council, while I appreciate the opportunity to come and offer a few thoughts on the issue before you, I have to say that I do so somewhat reluctantly. As a matter of policy, we at Armada Hoffler refrain from commenting on the projects of others. And rarely do we violate that edict, and I do so tonight only to clarify a few facts. Several of you have asked us about the potential impact this project may have on retailing at Town Center. As you know, it has been a mutual long-term goal at Town Center to attract high-end specialty retailers to the market. Due to an undeserved national reputation as an area that cannot or will not support luxury brands, this has been a Herculean task. Recently, we've landed some notable tenants that have bolstered these efforts. The addition of Anthropologie, Lululemon, and West Elm, amongst others, when combined with the recent announcements at Pembroke Mall, have given us considerable momentum. We are now in talks with a number of high-end retailers that previously would not discuss a Virginia Beach location. Some of these retailers have told us that that if an outlet mall were to develop in close proximity, they may well try to serve the market with one off-price store instead of the full-service, full-line stores that we desire. It's not possible to quantify how widespread of an impact this would have on our efforts at this time, but suffice to say, it wouldn't help. That notwithstanding, we would not ask you to take a stance that would stifle competition. That would be petty and self-serving. Alternatively, we wouldn't expect that you would approve a difficult access plan simply because someone is threatening to implement something even worse. The outlet mall is a great project brought by a top-flight developer and a premier operator. I believe that it will be warmly received by the region. I would simply ask this: Given the transportation difficulties and the close proximity to town center's efforts to attract a different type of retail activity, is there not a better site in the region for this development? I'm not qualified to offer an opinion on that question, but the obligation for an answer has fallen to you. This council has a great reputation for thoughtful consideration of such issues. I don't envy you in your task to find the best path forward, but I can tell you, whatever you decide, however you proceed, you can be certain that we will support your decision. Thank you.
Thank you for coming down tonight. Next speaker, please.
Navarez and Ramsey Smith.
We welcome you tonight.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, ladies and gentlemen of the council. My name is Gerald Tavares. I'm chairman and CEO of Tavares Real Estate and a founding member of the Central Business District Association. My company manages and leases about 25 million square feet of space throughout the United States, the great majority of which is retail. I've been in the business for over 40 years, although I look a lot younger. And therefore, I believe I have the ability to cast some knowledge and experience on the situation. I've not appeared before the City Council for a long time. However, the current situation is so egregious that I've decided to make an appearance so as to try to get a plea for common sense to an issue that is not Virginia Beach's making. Regionalism is a priority for Hampton Roads, as it will benefit the entire region's population and all the cities that make up that region. The Lake Wright site is a regional site with regional implications, and as such, it should be treated with a regional perspective. The approved plan, the approved plan envisioned for the site should be retained as a recreational open space plan that would enhance the Burton Station Village. The outlet mall will destroy the integrity of the plan for the Burton Station Village by putting a shopping center and a heavily traveled access road immediately at the village's doorstep, destroying the residential character of the village. The proposed use as an outlet mall has several negative regional impacts. Traffic. We've heard from many people about the Northampton Boulevard issues. It's a major artery for the region, connecting the interstate with Shore Drive and the Eastern Shore. The proposed outlet mall will only add traffic to that road. It's an incompatible use of the property and will severely increase congestion and adversely hamper through traffic at this intersection. Northampton Boulevard is a major through traffic artery. Adding a major destination now blends through and destination traffic and creates a problem. The outlet mall will result in several issues, including the City of Virginia Beach not realizing 1 cent on tax revenues while burdening it with expenses. Secondly, it threatens the very nature of the region's desire to enhance and improve its retail offerings, as you've heard from Lou Haddad. The issue is to be viewed regionally, and I hope that you will look at it from the perspective of what it can do for the region. Don't be fooled into believing this is a choice of one road over another. That's really the wrong way to look at it. The issue is the outlet mall should not be there to begin with. It's not a question of the roads.
Thank you very much for coming down tonight. Next speaker, please.
Ramsey Smith
We welcome you tonight.
and John Eason next.
Hey, Mayor, Council, I don't know why I got picked to go after Gerald, but
Aren't you lucky?
I'm Ramsey Smith. I'm president of Pembroke Commercial Realty. I'm the agent and representative of Pembroke Mall. We're a member of CBDA, and I'd like just to reiterate that we support the CBDA's letter, and obviously Lou said it very eloquently, that it's with trepidation that we do so, but we ask that you vote no for the Lake Wright Road.
Thank you for coming down. Next speaker, please.
John Eason, Joshua Schulman.
We welcome you tonight.
Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of council. I'm here tonight as a Virginia Beach resident from the Haywood Point section of Virginia Beach in the Bayside District. I've lived there for nearly 15 years now. I use Northampton Boulevard quite often. and I'm here in opposition to this planned roadway. You travel today from down Northampton, from Diamond Springs to Wesleyan, you've got stoplight at Baker Road, at Burton Station, and now you're looking at Wesleyan Drive, now you're looking at putting one there at Lake Wright, and it's just too much congestion. I mean, you can hire consultants to tell you anything you want to say, but sometimes common sense has to prevail, and there's too much traffic there to put yet another choke point. The SGA for Burton Station was developed over a long period of time, and I know Mr. Jones was heavily involved in that. There was a lot of people, a lot of stakeholders, and to just arbitrarily come along and say, well, we're just going to modify it now, and we're going to kick these folks to the curb one more time. And that's not right. So I urge you to deny this, and listen to the planning staff, who arguably are the smartest people in the city, who said this wasn't in compliance. Thank you.
Thank you for coming down. Next speaker, please.
Joshua Schulman, Edna Riddick.
We welcome you tonight.
Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of council, thank you very much. My name is Josh Schulman, and like some other folks here, I'm wearing a couple different hats tonight. I'm president of the CBDX, the Young Professionals Group based in the Central Business District. I'm also a lawyer and a managing partner of Columbus Executive Suites in Town Center. To the extent this project has potential for negative impacts on the Central Business District and Town Center in particular, I stand in opposition to channeling any additional time or resources away from the very important issues facing the areas in which we are already substantially invested. Existing retailers in the Central Business District deserve a chance to continue to grow and prosper. On my own behalf, I feel it's important for you to know that I came to Virginia Beach in search of opportunity almost 8 years ago. I moved from Detroit, Michigan, an area you all know has suffered from some very difficult times as of late. I'd like to think I'm exactly the type of person and demographic that the city is trying to attract. And if it weren't for the Central Business District and Town Center in particular, I, like so many of my colleagues, would not be here in the first place. I respectfully ask on my own behalf and on behalf of those I represent that you deny this application. Thank you.
Thank you for coming down. Next speaker, please.
Edna Riddick and Christopher Brown.
We welcome you tonight.
Good afternoon, Mayor Sessoms, Vice Mayor Jones, members of the City Council. My name is Edna C. Riddick. I am a resident of Norfolk, and I am a property owner on Northampton Boulevard, 5868 Northampton Boulevard, which is directly beside Lake Wright Golf Course. I am here because I am opposed to the Lake Wright Boulevard plan. I have been to many of the meetings, and I have heard everything that has been said. I do have some, I won't say criticism of it, but I feel like there has not been enough information given to the residents that it will impact. The safety on Northampton Boulevard, the traffic on Northampton Boulevard right now is significantly at its possibly worst. I hear residents or people talk about the worst time is 8 o'clock. The worst time is from 7:30 to 10, 2:30 to 6:30. I have to make appointments around the traffic to get my 90-year-old mother to her appointment so I can get out of Northampton Boulevard, out of the driveway onto Northampton Boulevard. I hear about the safety of the students at Virginia Wesleyan and Norfolk Academy, and I think the safety of everyone is important. The supervision of students is important. The safety of everyone is important. The impact of the Lake Wright Boulevard plan, I think we need more answers. I think there needs to be more information given to the residents, especially on the right-hand side of Northampton Boulevard, as to how close Lake Wright Boulevard will come to their residents. On the left side on Northampton Boulevard, I just feel like more detail needs to be done. It seems like we are rushing this once again. And I am totally opposed to the Lake Wright Boulevard plan. I heard that there were letters of support for it, but some residents never were informed about even asking for a letter of support or whatever. I think more detail needs to be given to everyone, but the safety on Northampton Boulevard and the traffic is what's important for everyone, not just Virginia Wesleyan students, Norfolk Academy. Traffic comes through there for everyone, and safety is what we need, safety. 10 years from now, we'll still be talking about this. Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming down. Next speaker, please.
Christopher Brown and David Redmond.
We welcome you tonight.
Good day, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Vice Mayor, ladies and gentlemen of City Council. My name is Chris Brown, and tonight we are discussing the proposed outlet mall that is to be built on the Lake Wright property. Being a local realtor, I spend many hours driving the roads in our area and see the impact traffic has on our driving experience. Northampton Boulevard is already brimful with the traffic coming on and off the interstate for the naval bases, Wesleyan College, Norfolk Academy, and the very important trucking route going up and down Highway 13. Adding another road, another light, will only add to the strain and make the traveling for our Virginia Beach residents increasingly onerous and time-consuming. Whether it's extending Wesleyan Road or building the new Lake Wright Boulevard, both give no benefit to our residents, only grief. Roads should alleviate congestion, not intensify them. In addition to the concerns of traffic, there is also the issue of the comprehensive plan for Burton Station, a plan that has been developed with the public input. Are we to expect our council will so quickly deviate from the established publicly approved plans to bring business and taxes to another city? Yes, a few of our residents may become employed in a new outlet mall, but does the benefit of these possible retail jobs outweigh the impact on the surrounding neighborhoods? Mayor Sessoms has recently proposed a compromise that would have the Lake Wright Boulevard, instead from stretching to Northampton Boulevard to the outlet mall, it will go from the outlet mall to Miller Store Road, and will give consideration to the current comprehensive plan for the area. Although this is a better proposal, I feel the best solution would be, instead of developing this spot, Norfolk takes a look at the current location currently being occupied by Military Circle Mall. The mall is in the midst of a downward spiral towards destitution and will soon become a blight to the city. This area has the infrastructure that can handle traffic flow of consumers coming from Virginia Beach Boulevard, Military Highway, and is still close to I-64 and 264. The most important aspect of using Military Circle instead of Lake Wright is that it will not negatively affect the quality of life for Virginia Beach residents and could be a gain for both cities. So in conclusion, I would urge the council to reflect on who their constituents are and what would be in their best interest. An outlet mall will help Norfolk with tax revenue and low-wage employment, but what is in it for beach residents? So thank you and have a good night.
Thank you for coming down. Next speaker, please.
David Redmond and Stephen Batten.
David, we welcome you tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's good to see all of you. My name is Dave Redmond. I am a 37-year resident of Thorogood in the Bayside District in Northern Virginia Beach. Mr. Mayor and members of council, I am thoroughly opposed to this road for a host of reasons, and just as insistent that this council, our city's elected leaders, act to protect Virginia Beach's interests. After all, our interests do matter. This site, for its intended use, an open-air shopping center, is a demonstrably bad site, and there is no fixing it. That lady and the good folks from L&J Gardens are absolutely correct. Regardless of whether this road ever happens, this shopping center would forever affect, and very negatively affect, Northampton Boulevard, Wesleyan Drive, Interstate 64, and all of Northern Virginia Beach. At this point, Northampton Boulevard is today one of the most heavily trafficked urban roadways in Greater Hampton Roads. 80,000 cars traverse Northampton Boulevard at this point today, and to add as much as 700,000 square feet of retail, and that's what we're talking about when you consider the land that S.L. Nussbaum hopes to purchase and develop, all of it at one end of the corridor. That's a prescription for traffic nightmares. The developer's proposed solution simply pushing that traffic into Virginia Beach, where Virginia Beach gains no tangible benefit from the development, is short-sighted and it's wrong. That ought to be a non-starter, at least to anyone who cares about Virginia Beach's interests. Finally, so I can sleep at night, and as much of a cliche as it might seem, I believe the Lake Wright property is today already functioning at its highest and best use, which is open space. It's one of the last large, undeveloped open spaces in a city that is widely recognized as desperately short of public open spaces. And I get it. Yeah, I get it. There's money on the table. But in Virginia Beach, we turn down our noses at a big payday, and largely through Lewis Jones's persistence, we preserve the Pleasure House Point property. Today, the Brock Environmental Center, the only living building in the Commonwealth of Virginia, graces that site through great foresight and dedication. Norfolk can and should do something similarly spectacular. Norfolk owns the Lake Wright property. It doesn't need to acquire land. I have no doubt you will be criticized and unfairly criticized for refusing to allow this road, but this is Virginia Beach, the largest city in Virginia. Our interests matter. So please, act like it. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Steve Batten and Keith Freeman.
We welcome you tonight, sir.
Mr. Mayor, Mr. Vice Mayor, and my friends and neighbors who are esteemed members of council, I appreciate you letting me have a few moments to speak to you this evening. Most people know me from the radio, and we try to be bright, brief, and relevant. I'll try to do at least 2 of those tonight. So I am happy to be a Virginia Beach resident. I am a native of Williamsburg, so I know a little bit about outlet malls. My father, my mother, and my brother are buried in the cemetery that an outlet mall took the entrance to in Williamsburg. I have to go around my elbow to get to my thumb now to visit their grave. That aside, though, this is just a bad idea. I'm happy to live where I do. I live on the Pungo end of Princess Anne and Seaboard. My backdoor neighbor is the doggy daycare center that most people take their dogs to in that area. And we don't have those kinds of traffic problems that these folks have, except on Strawberry Festival weekend. And I'm happy to have them that weekend, because we can walk and get some beach bully and some lemonade and some hot dipped corn over the weekend. I do travel to that area for a couple of reasons. To ManCon to get boxes, because I'm a ham radio operator and I buy and sell my gear and ship it out. Also, there's a Hot Now light on Northampton at the Krispy Kreme. You'll figure out I'm kind of motivated by food. The Hot Now light on Northampton, I actually try to avoid. That's the absolute worst place to add a road and another traffic light is right there where 6413 Norfolk Academy, Virginia Wesleyan all meet. Traffic's already a nightmare, waiting multiple cycles to get through a traffic light. Let's add another one. What a great idea. I don't care if the road is free. I'll choose a road that works that I have to pay for over a free one that makes traffic worse for everyone. This is not about land use. Norfolk can do whatever they want in their city. We have no obligation to clog our roads and ruin our neighborhoods, though, because of what Norfolk wants to do. I was going to make a snarky comment about next thing you know, they'll be trying to convince us to take light rail, but I'll leave that for another day. They talk about jobs. I don't know of any cashiers at an outlet mall making $70,000 a year. 60, 50, 40? I think we can do better. Virginia Beach neighborhoods spent a lot of time crafting the plans for Burton Station. Don't tell those constituents of yours that all that time was a waste. These high-paid lobbyists and lawyers are telling you the road is free. They really don't need it since they'll build the mall anyway. But here they are, arm-twisting you to vote for the road they don't need. There are some things that make me scratch my head, and that's one of them. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for coming down. Next speaker, please.
Keith Friedman and Eric May.
Oh, Eric. We welcome you tonight.
Good evening, City Council members and Mayor Sessoms. I appreciate the opportunity to voice my concerns over this project. I live offshore drive and commute daily, if not multiple times daily, and this proposal greatly concerns me. Just this past Friday, those pictures are references to that. It took me 45 minutes to get off of the interstate eastbound, 64 eastbound, and onto Northampton Boulevard. The last one in the sequence is all the way out to Baker Road. The addition of another traffic light will clearly exacerbate an already untenable position as far as traffic goes. I won't labor that point. You can see it right there. That's an impossible situation. We have a considerable investment at the oceanfront and in the central business district. What impression is that going to make if we take Avenue to our considerable investment at the oceanfront away from these tourists? Whatever choice they come to, whether they take 264 or they choose Shore Drive and Northampton Boulevard, they're going to be left with a bad taste in their mouth over that traffic situation. That intersection is clearly one of the worst designs in this area. So I would think that that would have to be remedied first before we even consider this. The retail jobs that will be created are low-end jobs, yet they will threaten a higher-end job in the central business district, as was pointed out by several speakers here tonight. So where's the plus side to this? You know, I'm all for regionalism, but if regionalism benefits all of us, it's good. If it just benefits Norfolk, it's not so good. Did they bother to consult with us ahead of time and try to work this out prior to making this commitment? I don't recall hearing anything about that. We clearly had a plan for Burton Station. They knew that. That was well publicized. Yet their actions in not seeking our guidance and cooperation early on in the project doesn't speak well for regionalism, if you're asking me. So I believe that if they try to play that card, then that's the answer. Where were you when the discussions were ongoing? You didn't bring us into it. So again, there are options available. One was brought up by a previous speaker about Military Circle. It's clearly a depressed area. It has the infrastructure, it has the parking. Why not try and convince them that's a better option rather than adding tens of thousands of cars on an already congested road? I mean, this is just not a good situation. I appreciate your time. I would urge you to turn this project down and do everything you can to dissuade them of that location. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Eric May and Gabriel Platt.
We welcome you tonight.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor Jones, members of council, Mr. Spoor, and Mr. Stiles, fellow beach citizens. There's a lot of rhetoric going around today about the issue, but it is really a simple issue. The smokescreen created by those outside of Virginia Beach and try to confuse the issue hasn't succeeded either. At least I hope it hasn't. So let's clear a few things up. This vote tonight doesn't concern the passage of an outlet mall. If you don't want an outlet mall at this location, that's fine. That's not enough to deny the application. However, it's not also enough to support it either. The applicants run to the Virginian Pilot and talk about the outlet mall every chance they get, but you cannot have it both ways. If opponents can consider the land use as a reason to deny, then supporters can consider land use as a reason to support. So what's left? What's left is already past the Virginia Beach Comprehensive Plan. What's left is the strategic growth plan for Burton Station. Does the proposed road fit our comprehensive plan, and does it fit the Burton Station plan? I think clearly it does neither. I think everyone knows that the traffic at this location is horrible. 63,000 cars every day to be exact. And I think that everyone knows that adding more lights and roads won't make it better either. And I'm fairly certain it will make traffic much worse. But tonight's vote is very simple. Ignore the high-priced lobbyists who try to tell you that the comprehensive plan doesn't really say what you put in it. You know the new road does not comply. Your vote is simple. Do the right thing for Virginia Beach. Do the right thing for our families. Vote no. Thank you.
Thank you for coming down. Next speaker, please.
Gabriel Platt and P.J. Patrick.
We welcome you tonight, sir.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and other council members. My name is Gabriel Platt. I've actually grown up in Virginia Beach all my life, all 36 years, and I'm a resident of L&J Gardens. Living in that neighborhood, I can also say that the traffic there is very bad. not only just from the corridor of Northampton, Wesleyan Drive, but also with the traffic from Norfolk Academy. Having lived in that neighborhood, it's a lot of traffic comes through there. And this building this other road along with the mall, more traffic is just going to be coming through that neighborhood. We already know that. It's not only a matter of safety for the Norfolk Academy students and teachers and other faculty and staff. It's also a safety matter for those of us that live in the neighborhood. Also for all Virginia Beach residents. This is a Virginia Beach property that they want to build the road on, and I feel like we're being strong-armed by people that do not live in Virginia Beach, by Norfolk people, Norfolk residents. And I think that you all should definitely, I urge you all to definitely vote no to this. It's not only a matter of just the safety, like I said, of our neighborhood members, it's also a problem for the city as a whole. We don't have the infrastructure to support the traffic that would be coming that way. We're going to have traffic coming from Hampton. We're going to have traffic coming from Chesapeake. We're going to have it coming from Princess Anne, from Norfolk. We're going to have it coming from Military Highway, and also coming from Eastern Shore. And to add another light in between what's already there is just going to make it more of a bottleneck than it already is. It's going to make it more of a hazard. And even when we have accidents now on the interstate or even on Northampton, it's horrible. And this is just more of a chance to have more accidents because we're going to have more people on the roads. And like I said, we do not have the infrastructure to support that. So I urge you to vote no. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next speaker, please.
P.J. Patrick?
We welcome you tonight.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Good evening, Mayor Sessoms, Vice Mayor Jones, and City Council members. I have the great privilege, I believe, of being last. Do I not? So I know you're all glad to hear that. My name is P.J. Patrick. I'm speaking for the board of the Northwest Beach Partnership as the organization's president. The Northwest Beach Partnership, if you're not familiar with them, we're a coalition of 25 leagues in the Northwest Beach section of Virginia Beach, encompassing in excess of 12,000 homes. I'm also president of the Lawson Forest Civic League, located off of Baker Road. It is our opinion that the proposed roadway connection between Norfolk Premium Outlets and Northampton Boulevard does not improve on the adopted comprehensive plan and the Burton Station SGA. The Planning Department, in the evaluation and recommendation section of this application, has explained numerous ways the road creates significant issues. In fact, from our point of view, as nearby residents and participants in the planning process that led to the final Burton Station SGA, we feel is a complete change of direction. Taken on its own, the proposed road may seem small, but its ramifications throughout the design, including internal access and movement patterns, placement of buildings, lost connection to Miller Store Road, and the creation of an additional intersection on heavily congested and already overburdened Northampton Boulevard, we believe the resulting adjustments require a major revision of the plan. We want to remind City Council members of the many public hearings and the meetings with Burton Station residents and other surrounding groups of citizens and neighbors that were held over a protracted period of time before we arrived at a consensus. We citizens are a critical part of the final form of the Northampton Boulevard Burton Station SGA plan. This is as it should be. No change of this magnitude should be accepted without extensive public input. Our comprehensive plan speaks to the importance of preserving and respecting existing neighborhoods. We live here and we have a vested interest in how our neighborhoods and quality of life will be impacted. We want our voices to be heard. Our group met for hours reviewing and discussing the existing plan and the details in the application, trying to understand the full impact. In our opinion, the proposed change represents a significantly different future for our area and is inconsistent with the current version of the SGA. This isn't what the citizens bought into. Therefore, we request that the Burton Station SGA plan only be changed through a public process before any change is made. Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming down. Next speaker.
That's all the speakers, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Burdine, you'll have 3 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Appreciate all the comments about the SGA plan that were made and all the time and effort that was spent on the SGA plan. The SGA plan, as I already indicated, it recommends 719,000 square feet of new retail and restaurant development in the SGA, more than double the size of the outlet mall. It doesn't reference anywhere that that retail and restaurant space should be anything other than an outlet mall. Let's get that out there. Not to mention the millions of square feet of office space that it recommends and hotel rooms that it recommends, all in a comprehensive plan document that my good friend Dave Redmond was on the Planning Commission when they recommended it to you. My good friend Dave Redmond, who's an employee of Gerald Tavares. The town center issue, I'm speechless on that, to be perfectly honest with you. It's not the city's job to protect either the city's investment in town center or private investors' investments in town center. I've worked in town center my entire life before it was town center. We passed all the provisions for town center, all the development for town center, knowing full well that the intersections and the interchange, at 264 would be failing. We said we're going to build it anyway. I do find it somewhat ironic to hear anyone with the CBDA come down and concerned about traffic on Northampton Boulevard with the traffic we have to deal with at Independence Boulevard. But we deal with it because the job of the city is to make the pie bigger and not to keep one person's pie separate from somebody else's pie. And at this point, it is unequivocal that we have a plan with all this development, a comp plan with all this development that says use Wesleyan Drive as the north-south connector. And my client will do that. Would have done that a long time ago. But they did a traffic study. Imagine that. They did a traffic study. A traffic study that clearly shows these comments about stoplights. What you're doing is you're making the two stoplights three-way. You're not having the left turn movements that cause the red light cycles. You get traffic through there. The traffic studies clearly show it. You have copies of it. That traffic will move much faster on Northampton Boulevard through the corridor. Thirdly, with the cul-de-sacing of Burton Station Road no longer being the cut through to Miller Store Road, that traffic, if you even keep the light, is very minimal in terms of any red light cycle because there's not traffic coming through there any longer. So you're displacing the need for that light for all intents and purposes. It has no impact on the eastbound traffic on Northampton Boulevard across from the folks in L&J. There won't even be a signal for the eastbound side of Northampton Boulevard at Lake Wright Boulevard. None whatsoever. So it is clear, it is unequivocal, no matter all the obfuscation that's you're hearing, that it will absolutely be a betterment for traffic than what's proposed in the comprehensive plan, both development and road.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Mr. Jones?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, members of council, I go through the intersection of Northampton Boulevard and Interstate 64 every day. When I go to work in the morning, I have to come up Wesleyan Drive and try to turn left and deal with the Norfolk Academy traffic. Then I try to get across through the stoplight to get onto Northampton Boulevard and try to get over to the right so I can get on the interstate to go towards the city of Norfolk where my office is. It's terrible. In the afternoon, I come home from two different locations regularly, I come home from my Norfolk office, which is on Tidewater Drive in Norfolk, and the traffic is backed up towards Corner on the Interstate 64, and I'm wait for anywhere from an hour to an hour and 15 minutes to try to get off of the interstate at the Northampton Boulevard exit. When I get off of the interstate, I take my life into my own hands trying to get over to the right to get onto Wesleyan Drive, and I have seen numerous accidents there. Or I see people who are taking their lives in their own hands trying to get over to the left to go straight onto Northampton Boulevard and get stopped at the stoplights. What is being proposed here is to create another road that's going to enter into Northampton Boulevard, create another stoplight within a very short distance of the Wesleyan Drive stoplight, which means that you would have a stoplight at Wesleyan Drive, a stoplight at the proposed Lake Wright Boulevard, a stoplight at Burton Station Road, a stoplight at Baker Road, and another stoplight at Diamond Springs Road. The traffic backs up for over a mile, and it's bumper to bumper. And it's not just in the morning, and it's not just in the evenings. It's on Saturdays and Sundays. It's on in the afternoons, in the midday. It's a terrible traffic condition on Northampton Boulevard already. That's the real issue here. The traffic on Northampton Boulevard is terrible. The road currently is a level E, and to add any further traffic to come out of this Lake Wright Boulevard, or frankly any other road onto Northampton Boulevard, is ridiculous, particularly in lieu of the fact that there is no plan and there is no funding set forth to do anything about dealing with the interchange off Interstate 64 onto Northampton Boulevard. Now, it's been proposed, it's been set forth or trying to convince people that the choice is between Lake Wright Boulevard and Wesleyan Drive, and that's just not true. Wesleyan Drive is not a given at all. Wesleyan Drive is not in the capital improvement program of the City of Virginia Beach. It's not even mentioned. Wesleyan Drive is not funded in any way by the City of Virginia Beach. And before Wesleyan Drive could be built, somebody would have to get permission from this city council to do that. On August the 5th, 2014, the city council unanimously approved a resolution directing the city manager to brief and seek the guidance of city council pertaining to the approval of proposed streets within the City of Virginia Beach. One of the paragraphs in that resolution says that the city manager shall direct staff of the planning and public works departments to brief city council and seek its input prior to the approval of site plans or construction plans for any proposed public roadway or street providing vehicular access from the project in question to Northampton Boulevard in the City of Virginia Beach. So the threat that if we don't approve Lake Wright Boulevard is just that, nothing more than a threat. Wesleyan Drive is not a given if we don't approve Lake Wright Boulevard. It can't be built without the approval of the City Council of Virginia Beach. Now, the real issue that's before us tonight, besides traffic, is very clear. It's an issue as to whether or not the proposed Lake Wright Boulevard is consistent with the comprehensive plan of the City of Virginia Beach. The professional planning staff of the City of Virginia Beach advises us, and I quote from the staff evaluation and recommendation, that the staff finds that the applicant has proposed a roadway connection between Northampton Boulevard and an outlet mall that is not consistent with the currently adopted Burton Station SGA plan, the Master Transportation Plan, and accordingly, the Comprehensive Plan of Virginia Beach. That's our professional staff in our planning department, Virginia Beach. They also go ahead and say the roadway is not recommended by the comprehensive plan, including those components that are part of the comprehensive plan by a reference. I agree with the professional planning staff of Virginia Beach. I therefore move that the City Council of Virginia Beach overrule the decision of the Virginia Beach Planning Commission that the proposed road is consistent with the comprehensive plan, and that the council finds the proposed roadway inconsistent with the comprehensive plan, and further directs the city manager to not allow construction of the proposed Lake Wright Boulevard.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion. Bobby?
Yeah, yeah, thank you all. This is obviously one of those ones that, you know, conventional wisdom says, you know, just hold your fire, don't say anything, but this is an important one. And I think it compelled to say that, you know, and I agree with Shep Miller that we should strive towards regionalism. But when you work between cities, it has to be a two-way street of communication. And I really don't think that the communication was adequate in this regard. And through adversity, you find opportunity. And I think we have to broker better relationships with our neighbors to the west, you know, especially to those of us who feel that, you know, not taking care of the traffic at the Hampton Roads Bridge Tunnel is an impediment to economic development, not only to Virginia Beach, but to the region, and it really divides, you know, north and south Hampton roads. But the point being, though, that, you know, I don't want to be accused of not being a regional player. But the point is, though, I was hired to represent the people of Virginia Beach and to protect the economic interests of the people of Virginia Beach. And in a conversation I had with the police chief just the other day, that this road and this project, now, don't get me wrong, we have no jurisdiction over whether they build it or not, but we have jurisdiction over what we can control. And the police chief said, and I think the gentleman rightly brought up, that there's going to be more accidents and traffic and everything, and that's going to put a burden on our police department and stretch our resources at the 3rd Precinct. So I am going to support the Vice Mayor on this, and I just hope going forward that we can build a better line of communications with the cities so we can avoid this kind of, you know, thing in the future.
Please
I
respond.
would just like to ask a clarification, Mr. Dyer, but you really are saying that your principal reason for voting is not protecting our economic interests, but actually it's not consistent with the comprehensive plan.
You know, that's true too.
Thank you
Yes,
very much.
without question. Yeah, thank you.
Amelia?
Yes, and I live off of Northampton in Wesleyan Chase, so I witness this every day. And again, it is not inconsistent with our plan. Part of being elected was to seek what was best for our citizens in Virginia Beach, and therefore I support Vice Mayor Jones.
Other questions, Barbara?
Well, we're
between a rock and a hard place, I guess. We've got a very, very, very difficult situation here, but as the statement in the staff report says, the purpose of the CPC review is only to determine if the proposed roadway is consistent with the currently adopted comprehensive plan in all of its parts, including those adopted by reference. And I agree with the staff's finding and with the part of the motion before us that this proposed road is inconsistent with the comprehensive plan and the SGA plan. And that's all. And I think we were kind of cautioned that we're not trying to decide which road is better or how to solve a traffic problem. We're just determining this one particular issue. But I can't sit here and ignore all that I've heard tonight from people who spoke in favor of this road and those people who spoke against it, and all that we have heard about the major traffic problem on Northampton Boulevard. Clearly, both sides agreed that that's the issue, and we've got a major problem in that area. I have been one of the strongest supporters, I guess, over the years of planning, good planning, and of our comprehensive plan, and now our strategic growth area plans. And as I look at this area and the SGA plan that we did adopt in 2009, and we had many months of work on this one as we did on all the others, with all the stakeholders invited and supposedly attending and trying to work things out. And our SGA plans are not just a fluke and not something that we're not going to pay any attention to. They were supposed to be our vision for how we were going to achieve the things that we want. But I have to look at this SGA plan and say, it's really not anywhere close to what the SGA plan said, this road or not. Because also it says, the adopted Burton Station plan also recommends a golf course district spanning both sides of the border, and the plan calls for the renovation of the golf course and partial relocation, The golf course is gone. And we also, if we have heard correctly about the amount of traffic that would be generated with what our plan does show, it sounds to me like we shouldn't be doing that either. So I really am not comfortable with just taking this action tonight and going home. I would like to know that the next step is going to be that we're going to reconvene, and I think I said this a year ago when we first heard this, reconvene this whole SGA process for this area and try to come up with the plan that is best for the area, the best we can do. Now, we can't control what Norfolk does. We have seen that. But I think we really have to have a plan here that, as one of our speakers says, we've got a major problem. We need extensive public input, and only changes should be made through the public process. And I would really like to know that that's going to be done at this point so that we can try to address all of these issues that I think all of the speakers have brought before us tonight, as far as the traffic in that area and the concerns that everybody seems to have about the safety and what reasonably should be done in that area for the good of all of our citizens.
Other comments, Mr. Wood?
Thanks.
That's your resume.
And to follow up on what Ms. Henley said, I believe that was Ms. Patrick that made that comment about the plan should only be changed with public participation. I certainly agree with her on that. And I'll tell you, and those of you on council know why I say this, I'll put my regional cooperation bona fides against anyone up here, with the possible exception of the mayor, in terms of what I've done regionally, specifically with transportation. And That's where I come down on this particular issue. Mr. Miller hit on some very good points, speaking in favor, mentioning that he used a phrase, this isn't a great road or a great site, and he's absolutely correct. Ms. Riddick, speaking in opposition, said she was talking about the different bad times to travel, and I thought it was interesting. And I've intentionally driven down Northampton Boulevard and Wesleyan Drive probably a dozen times in the last couple of weeks just to get a feel for the way the traffic moves here, because intuitively I know it's bad, but I wanted to go at different times. So I've been there early in the morning, I've been there midday, and I've been there late at night, and I have yet to find a time anywhere where traffic flows smoothly on Northampton Boulevard. And regardless of whether or not a particular road is favored or not in a plan or one version of a plan, in my mind, adding any additional road, any additional capacity on this when there are other alternatives would be a very bad situation, and that's why I'm supportive of the Vice Mayor's motion.
Rosemary?
Well, anybody that knows me knows that I'm probably the shopper on the council. I probably shop more than any other person on this council, and I love the premium outlets. I have been to the ones down in Orlando. I have been to the ones out near Palm Springs. I have been to premium outlets all over this country, and I think they are absolutely fantastic. And I mean, it would be nice not to have to drive to Williamsburg, and it would be nice not to have to fly out to Palm Springs and the different place, or Orlando, or the one down near Naples, Florida. But I also grew up in Bayside and went to Bayside High School, and I know this area really, really well. And I also know that not only is Northampton Boulevard bad, but 64 backs up, trying to get onto Northampton Boulevard, so that it's dangerous as well. I was on there Friday afternoon at 3 o'clock, and there was this big backup right on 64 trying to get onto Northampton. And I also know that outlet malls generate huge traffic. Not just going to the grocery store, I mean huge traffic, because people will come for miles and miles and miles, which I would love for them to come here and spend their money and all that, but I have of the opinion of it's like putting something really gigantic in a really small place, and it's just not the right spot for it. And they can build it anywhere, but I just don't think that traffic should be coming in to that particular place. If they can figure out how to do it with Miller Store Road and they want to do it anyway, then that's up to them. But in my conscience, in my good conscience, and when the headmaster from Norfolk Academy talked about the safety of the children, I'm a former teacher, and I was on the school board. I care about children, and I cannot imagine putting more traffic right there in front of Norfolk Academy, in front of Virginia Wesleyan. I think that really hurts the safety of the children. So I think some people have been sort of misled that it's either one way or another. I don't see it, as Mr. Jones pointed out, that it's either one or the other. For all of those things, I love the outlet mall idea. I just don't think it's the right place or the right way to get to it off of Northampton Boulevard. So I'm going to be voting in denial.
John?
As the seconder of the motion, I've appreciated all the ancillary conversations. I just want to make clear what Mr. Jones said is that the proposed request is not consistent and is not an improvement upon the comprehensive plan, and that is the vote that we are taking, just to make it clear as to what we are voting and the rationale for our vote.
Thank you. I guess it's my turn. Anybody else got any comments? My biggest fear right now that no vote is going to solve this problem that we're getting ready to take. And I'm going to vent a little bit first. If this was a planning issue, I would not vote for this thing to be approved in Virginia Beach where it's located, because it didn't go along with our comprehensive plan or SGA. And it bothers me greatly that, but it isn't our property. It's in other cities. I'd also like to say that for years and years, before I was even mayor, we've been working on the comprehensive plan in the SGA in Burton Station, and Mr. Jones in particular, with the city staff, has worked for years to build up trust and come up with a good plan and have the individuals in the community buy off on it and see what we're trying to do. The whole issue that got me on the thought of the compromise that I put out, and I'm not silly, I can see where that stands with the council, and it's not there as far as support. But that being said, though, it was about safety. And that is the key thing that's on my mind. And before we leave, I want to understand, can we keep that road from being built if it's coming in from the Norfolk side, Mark?
The Virginia Beach City Council has control over public roadways built within the city of Virginia Beach.
I understand, but if it's built on the Norfolk side, we don't have control, do we?
You don't have control over roads built in another city, no, sir.
Where's Mr. Verdon? Can that road even be built on the Norfolk side without?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, it can. And that is what will occur. The road will be built using the existing Wesleyan Drive, Northampton Boulevard intersection, and the road will be built on the Norfolk side of the city line. Your comp plan has that exact same road on the smack up against the city line on our side. It's just a matter, it's moved from one side of the line to the other, and that is what, and it will not go to Miller Store Road. It'll just go to the mall, and that is what will occur.
Thank you. Okay, any other discussion or comments? We'll call for the question, please.
Wait a minute, you got to vote.
Wait.
By a vote of 7 to 2, you have passed the ordinance.
no.
The
Okay, the road will not be, has been denied. We'll move on. Oh, go
May I-
ahead, Mrs. Henley.
Yes. As I said, I would like to ask that we move forward with reviewing this SGA plan. I'm very, very concerned that we really can't control what goes on there in another city, but I'm very, very concerned that what does happen there could be a major problem for the region, for Virginia Beach, and I want to see us re-examine this strategic growth area as soon as possible.
All right, Mr. Jones, we go to the appointments, please.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, I'd like to nominate to the Arts and Humanities Commissions Samantha Matson, who is a junior at Princess Anne High School. I'd like to nominate to the Community Services Board Glacy T. Anall, registered nurse, as an interested party. To the Green Ribbon Committee, Captain Chris Ludford. And to the Health Services Advisory Board, Jim White, a registered dietitian, and Betty S. Rouse.
Are there any other nominations? Hearing none, I'll call for the question, please.
By a vote of 9 to 0, you have appointed those named for the vice mayor.
Okay, is there any unfinished business? Is there any new business? We'll adjourn, but we'll have open mic. Can you tell us when it's going to begin, please?